Let's talk about Adou Thiero, because this guy keeps coming up throughout these playoffs, and honestly, for good reason. At the very least, this is a player who needs real minutes and real opportunities, if not to make an immediate difference in this series, then to build toward what he can become for this Lakers team next season. Because make no mistake, Adou Thiero needs to be a legitimate part of the rotation going forward. Not a fringe guy, not a roster filler, a real rotation piece. Here's the thing about him. If he can get his three-point shot to a reliable 37%, the conversation shifts entirely. You're talking about a guy who should be starting. That's how much his overall package brings to the table. He can put the ball on the floor, he can attack the rim, and he has that rare explosive athleticism that just jumps off the screen. The main thing he still needs to refine is his finishing around the basket. But here's the context that matters. Thiero went through a significant growth spurt that essentially transformed him from a guard-sized player into a power forward overnight. Your hands get bigger, your center of gravity changes, the rim feels different from a completely different height. Everything that was natural before suddenly requires relearning. That takes time, and that's okay. The tools are absolutely there. And then there's the injury factor. He's missed significant time, and that's a big part of why he was available where the Lakers got him. He was projected as a mid-first round pick coming out, and the injury dropped him all the way to the second round, pick 36. The Lakers moved up to go get him, and if he can stay healthy and continue developing, that's gonna look like a steal. A true first-round talent landing in the second round is exactly the kind of value you build winning rosters around. The development path is right there in front of him too. Get him working with someone like Lethal Shooter on the perimeter game. Get him in the gym with Phil Handy. Look at what Phil Handy did for Rui Hachimura's overall game. Bring in different voices, different perspectives, whatever it takes. Get that jump shot to serviceable, and this guy becomes a genuine problem for opposing teams. He already gives you real, switchable defense across multiple positions. That's not easy to find. And in terms of the physical profile, he's the only guy on this roster, outside of LeBron James, who gives you that combination of size, athleticism, and explosiveness. That ability to just put his head down, physically impose his will, and find his way to the rim through contact. Nobody else on this team does that. That's a rare trait, and long term, it's an incredibly valuable one. But here's the issue, and it's really the core of the conversation. The coaching staff needs to trust him more. JJ Redick and the Lakers need to actually let this kid play. We saw him get some minutes in game 2, and that was great. But 4 to 6 minutes of action in a playoff game isn't a real audition. You can't evaluate what a player is capable of in that kind of sample. And what happened in those minutes? He went out there, grabbed 2 big rebounds immediately, and held his own defensively. Yeah, he was a little passive offensively, but that's exactly what you'd expect from a young rookie finding his footing in a high-stakes environment. LeBron even tried to throw him an alley-oop at one point, but OKC was locked in and broke up the connection. That play actually tells you something. It tells you that Thiero is a lob threat, someone who creates vertical pressure at the rim that defenses have to respect even when they're sagging off him. OKC may be giving him space on the perimeter, but they still have to account for him. And let me put it plainly, he cannot possibly be worse shooting threes than Jared Vanderbilt. At this point, Thiero is essentially a bigger, stronger, faster version of Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt is going to miss time, then give Thiero a real shot. But to do that, you have to extend him some trust. Give him a little rope. Yes, keep him accountable. Keep a watchful eye. But don't yank him at the first sign of a mistake. That's how you stunt a young player's development. You have to let him learn through the ups and downs in real game situations. Same goes for Bronny James. Same goes for Nick Smith-Jeter. These young guys need a little room to breathe, a little space to make mistakes and grow from them. Now, out of all of them, the one I want to see the most is Adou Thiero, and right alongside him, Bronny James. Those two, more than any other young players on this roster, match the athleticism and speed that OKC brings to the table every single night. That's not a small thing in this series. Then after them, Nick Smith-Jr., and then Dalton Knecht. And I want to be clear about Dalton Knecht. He needs the shortest leash of the group. Tight. The problem with Knecht is that he's the weakest defender in the rotation, and in a series against Oklahoma City, they are going to hunt him. They're going to target him every single possession. He could knock down 3 straight threes and still be a net negative because of how exposed he'd be on the other end. So if he plays, keep it extremely limited. But with Thiero and Bronny, you can give them a little more room to operate. Let them make a mistake without immediately pulling them. Let them build. Let them develop. And even if you're sitting there thinking the series is already slipping away, that's actually more of a reason to play these guys, not less. If the outlook is grim, then give your young players the reps, the experience, the playoff atmosphere. Let them see what this level looks and feels like. You want Adou Thiero to be your first wing off the bench next season, coming in and making an impact night after night, starting when called upon. To get there, He needs real minutes now, even if it's just to build experience and confidence. LeBron actually made a great point when he was talking about Bronny. He said that if you can show up and build your confidence in the playoffs, a random regular season game on a Tuesday night means nothing. That's exactly the mindset, and that applies to Thiero just as much. Get him out there. Trust him. Give him a real look. Because that short leash doesn't just limit what he can do tonight, it limits what he can become for this organization. Unleash Adou Thiero. Let him go out there and make plays. The upside is real, the tools are real, and the time to find out is now.